It's official, Lahai-Roi is finally the next destination in Wuthering Waves, and these are the top 5 new features coming with the 3.0 update. So let's start with the new region, Lahai-Roi, and man, it looks amazing. There's so many different biomes here, from a mystical forest to cities with big highways. There's even some crazy sci-fi environments too. Now, from what I understand, this new region is inhabited by the Space Trek Collective, an international group of top researchers. And research means learning, so we're literally going to enroll into an academy. This could mean many things, but so far not many details have been shared, although they did hint there's going to be a campus life. So I am curious to see how they develop the academic lifestyle simulation. But yeah, besides that, Main Quest Chapter 3 Prologue and Act 1 will be available from December 25th, which is exactly when 3.0 launches. And then Act 2 will be available on January 15th, so like as usual, once the second phase of the update starts. Most importantly, players who completed a certain amount of Chapter 1 storyline can easily jump into the 3.0 story and region, similar to how this was handled back with 2.0. But with this quick overview of the region out of the way, let's move on to the new mechanics. Now, this 3.0 update actually comes with a couple of unique mechanics, and the first one you've probably seen it, the ability to use a motorbike. And there's tons of new details the devs have revealed about it. First of all, you can do stunts, like we can see some characters posing here, totally ignoring their safety, but it's also possible to drift with the bike, and it can even be used to ride on rough surfaces, so you're not just stuck using it on the highway. There's also radio available, so you can listen to some tunes, and there's even a first-person view you can switch to, but my favorite addition to it is the ability to use the scanner, which enables the bike to quickly grab chests and collectibles without needing to dismount it. I mean, this is gonna be super convenient when I'm just exploring the new region. But that's not all. The bike can be upgraded by clearing a new permanent addition to Voidstorm's zone, so this is a nice way to tie the upgrade system with some good old combat rewards. Still, besides upgrading, you can even customize the bike. The devs have stated there will be many ways to update the cosmetics, some of which can be earned by just doing the main quest. Other ways include purchasing the skins from the shop, although I'm not sure if they meant with real money or with just one of the in-game currencies. Other than that, you can enable autopilot mode, and for those of you who want to feel even closer to your waifu or husbando, you can ride together off into the sunset. How romantic. But let's move over to the next major addition to the game, the off-tune mechanic, which will be updated for every single unit in the game. So this was previously a teased mechanic in one of the game modes, but basically enemies now have this off-tune bar, and once you build it up with attacks and the off-tune level limit is reached, the enemy enters a mistune state, which means now attacks can trigger a tune break, which also resets their off-tune back to the start. Interestingly enough, against strongest enemies, characters will need to trigger their own specific tune break skills, and as I said a moment ago, every unit will receive this updated skill when checking their abilities. If that's not enough, some characters can even inflict a special shifting effect on enemies, and if you tune break them, they will enter interfered state, and this state will provide different buffs to different units. Oh, and some enemies can be directly sent into mistuned state when you successfully dodge and parry some of their attacks. Long story short, this feels like a buff to older units, and basically it's a mechanic that will help both old and new units change up their rotations and make them feel a little more different. Now, the other addition to the game is something we've seen in other gachas many times, and it's called a waves line system. In a nutshell, you just talk to other characters in the game, learn more about them through text exchanges, the usual stuff. Although they did mention some quests and other things can be started from this new system. And yeah, you can even personalize your messenger. But another major mechanic in the game is going to be the Frontier Renewal permanent event. Here you can develop and even change the landscape of the new region by building bridges and repairing regional route networks. It's a cool way to basically experience the growth of the region over time. I like it. And of course, there's a bunch of rewards for doing it, including this phantom version of the new Echo Twin Nova and a custom skin for the motorbike. In fact, you can even develop this observatory that allows you to change the weather of the region, which can impact the exploration. For example, creating heavy rain weather can increase the river's water level. Pretty cool. And yeah, there's a bunch more little additions to the new region, but I won't go over them since they're all pretty much just tied to exploration. The last thing worth mentioning would be the updated OST and visuals of the login menu. That's always a nice thing to see when starting up a new version. Alright, time to talk about the new characters because, man, I think Kuro really outdid themselves this time. And starting with Lynae, I really hope I didn't butcher her name. Anyway, she's a 5-star Spectro pistol user, and she's got roller skates, which are not only useful for exploration, but looks like you can even ride with them on the walls. Now, not a lot of concrete info was shared about her kit, but the devs did mention one very unique thing about her. She has the function to switch between two different skill resonance modes in the abilities menu. And I believe here we can see her skill, forte, and off-tune abilities will have two different modes, meaning two different playstyles. And as for the kit, they've mentioned that when her skills land, her forte builds up, and then when maxed out, she can enter a special roller skating state, and she can leap and perform up to 3 aerial attacks. As for the liberation, depending on which mode you've selected in the abilities menu, the enemy in the mistuned state will either enter the tune rupture or tune strained interfered statuses, which cause different effects. Again, not much about the actual details, but she can also summon the bike into combat to do her bidding, which is pretty funny. Overall, looks like she will be capitalizing on the new off-tune mechanic, and her playstyle looks super aesthetic. Moving over, the next featured resonator is Mornye, who is a 5-star fusion broadblade user, and oh my gosh, the reason her legs are so beautiful is because they are prosthetics, and the devs mentioned when she's charging up her legs, she likes to sit down and read a bunch of research papers. I mean, admit it, that's way too cute. How dare you, Kuro? Alright, enough with the glazing. So Mornye in combat will act as a support, since some of her kit provides healing, but she can also supposedly increase defensive capabilities for the team. On top of that, when a certain condition is met, she can suspend herself in mid-air and start spamming her attacks, one of which includes this big ol' laser blast from the orbit, or somewhere. But besides that, she can also provide some buffs to allies. Now, her skill can deploy a barrier that blocks enemies' attacks and counters, while her liberation deals damage, and then depending if the enemy is in tune ruptured or strained state, she generates different additional buffs. So yeah, she's got a ton of support built into her, and her liberation also interacts with the new off-tune mechanic. Okay, now let's quickly go through the banners. In Phase 1, Lynae, Kartathea, and Chacona will be the featured 5 stars, along with their signature weapons, while in Phase 2, Mornye, Augusta, and Yuno will be featured with their signatures. Quite the stacked banners, if I may say so myself. Oh, and it seems like they're adding a new lineup of standard 5-star weapons, which will be its own separate banner you can pull from by selecting one of them. Lastly, a bunch of new echoes will be added into the game, which is expected, especially with a new region, and it looks like a total of 3 new echo sets will be introduced. Sadly, even when checking their website, they didn't share the actual details of these sets, but you can see all the upcoming echoes and some of the phantom versions. As always, new version, new events. And the first 2 are Lahai-Roi Pioneers and Capturing Starlight events, both of which will guide the players around the new region and of course provide a bunch of goodies. Then there's Star Torch Racing, an event where you get to utilize the new bike and race through the tracks and earn some rewards. Then Lolo Logistics is once again making a comeback, this time with a different twist, but it's basically just you providing some adventure logs for, yet again, more rewards. But this other event making a comeback is a lot more exciting, the Echo Duel Game. This time around, it will have new echoes to choose from, other ones will be updated. I mean, who doesn't like Pokemon battling in WuWa's universe? Especially when one of the rewards is a Phantom Chop Chop. Tactical Hologram is also receiving an update, now you can fight Dreamless, and there's even a possibility to earn now a couple of new titles. But with the recurring stuff out of the way, there's something entirely new. That's right, a new endgame mode called Tactical Hologram Synchronization will be added after 3.0 update. Not much was said about it, but basically there will be objectives you will need to reach in order to beat this mode, and it will remain permanent in the game and receive future updates. Pretty cool. Moving over, Double Pawns Matrix Pilot requires you this time to select different teams and buffs to beat powerful and probably annoying bosses. Score points by doing so and earn rewards like Astrites and upgrade materials. Then there's another smaller event called Signs of a Silent Star, which will gradually unlock its interactions and minigames over 7 stages, nothing too crazy, but as usual, you can expect a 7-day login event to claim 5 of each character banner pulls, and starting from December 25th, when 3.0 launches, just log in and claim 10 Radiant Tides and 10 Solvents, my favorite kind of event. Last but not least, let's quickly go over the upcoming quality of life changes. First, the data bank level is getting raised to level 30, and its upgrade functions will be enhanced, meaning Cost 4 Echoes drop rate will be improved, along with Cost 1 and Cost 3 Echoes as well. Next, the double drop event can now stack together with double claim. So now, just grab 4 times the rewards easily. But if you only have 1 claim left, then you can still receive triple the rewards. We're still farming for those depressive drops, but a little faster. Yay! Anyway, the birthday system starting from January 1st will be updated as well, so new UI and refreshed claiming experience, and even if you forget after 7 days to claim your account's birthday gifts, they will be sent over the new Waves line system, and this should remain permanent. Now, the much needed facelift for the team's UI screen has been finally provided. Instead of static images, we're getting some dynamic animations, which look quite nice. And even the event interface received a makeover. It does actually look a lot cleaner. Still, cleaning can also be done to storage, and that's what the devs are introducing with 3.0. Now, you can remove some resources on your device by performing this resource cleanup process. So this should be great for phone users, especially if you can remove some cutscenes or story scenes after you experienced them. And yeah, it does look quite extensive since you can manage resources by area and storyline. And finally, the graphics are getting optimized for Android phones with Vulkan support for some models, while the PC users get to enjoy improved graphic fidelity for things like grasses and sands and so on. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to this 1 hour long live stream that I've condensed into roughly 11 minutes. Hopefully you found this useful, and let me know if I missed anything. Thank you for watching, and I'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button on this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and see you next time.